Hello, my beautiful Scorpios. Welcome in if you're new. Welcome back if you've been here before. I have added your sign now to my weekly readings because it was requested. So the four signs I don't regularly read for, I put up a reading to see if there was any interest, and I have a request for to do Scorpio on the regular. So I said I would do it if anybody asked me to. So here we are. All right. So this is going to be posted, as you know, on Friday the 19th. I do try to post every Friday at 5 p.m. for the signs, so everybody knows when it's going to come out and they have it there for the weekend so they can look at it whenever. This is being posted on the 19th, and then Sunday the 21st is the summer solstice where I am here in Maine, USA. So we'll talk about that a little bit. That is the longest day of the year here. We're going to have about 15 hours of daylight on Sunday, June 21st. I love it. I love that it's on a Sunday. Can get lots of yard work done and outside work if it's a nice day. So that's good. It's not quite the middle of the year. July 2nd is the actual middle of the year. So, all right, what we're using is we're using the Magical Times Empowerment cards, my Spirit Song Tarot, which is all animals. I don't use it often because the suits are different, but that's okay. And then a new deck that I got, which I think is called Mystical Whimsical Oracle or something like that. I wanted to use some bright, festive decks of cards for this week's reading. Okay, let's get right to it. So the card that came out for Magical Times for you, my beautiful Scorpios, is Elegance, the Swan. It is found in the beauty of nature, the lotus waiting to bloom. Be the swan on the water and glide. So lotus flowers have to come up through the mud, through the water, to bloom on the surface. Nobody sees all of the action going on below that beautiful lotus. When it's there, they're just looking at the lotus. Oh, look at that. It's so gorgeous. Not really thinking about all the hard work that it took for that lotus to bloom. Same with swans. Swans are beautiful, but they are born as ugly ducklings, if any of you know that. When they're little, they don't look beautiful. They have to grow into their beauty, right? Also, they're paddling madly under the surface of the water while it looks like they're gliding on the surface. So the message here could be for you that everybody doesn't realize or understand or see or know all the work that you have put into whatever it is that you're doing, your business, your job, your work, your home, even how you look, right? Some people, especially when I lived in the South, it's all about the hair and makeup and the style and everything. Me here in Maine, lumberjack, woodman territory, I'm not as concerned with those things. But, for somebody that is, they put a lot of work and time and effort and energy into that, right? So if people aren't noticing that or giving you credit for it, sometimes we can feel defeated, right? Sometimes we feel like people just think that what we do is so easy. I don't know who needs that message, Scorpios, but somebody does. It can be for anyone. If you're a carpenter and you build things, people just go, wow, that's great. They don't understand you have 15 years of experience to get you to that point, right? I don't know who needed that message, Scorpios, but some of you do. You need to be aware that spirit and your guides and your ancestors do see all the work that you have put in to what you've built in your life, my beautiful Scorpios. That's what I'm hearing right now, is they see it, okay? So even if some people don't, that's okay. This is Earth. Humans make lots of mistakes. We're just learning as we go. All right, I'm going to face the camera down and we're going to pull the tarot together. Okay, my beautiful Scorpios, let's see what the tarot has in store for you. Let us see. I hope you're all doing well. I would love to know where you're watching from and what the weather's like where you are. I do have viewers all around the world. So, but when I talk about the weather and things, I mean, I have to go by what I'm experiencing, right? So if you're coming up on your winter solstice, you can let us know about that. I would love to hear about it. I love to get comments. Although somebody commented on one of my Capricorn videos, the only thing they put in the comments was rubbish. So I just liked it. I'm like, whatever, if you don't like watching tarot readers, why do you go on their channels just to say something negative, right? Why do that? Go watch something you do like. I just don't pay attention to that. I'm not here for the haters. I'm here for the people who want to see and hear these messages. I mean, I know if I'm watching, even sometimes I'm watching a reader that I follow, but the reading isn't resonating, so I just move on to something else. I don't get mad. I don't start trash talking on their channel. That's just mean, It's a lot of work to do these. I don't edit. I just film it. I do make thumbnails, but some people put a lot of time and effort into editing their videos and putting a lot of bells and whistles on there, but I don't have time to do that since I still work outside the home. Even though it's part-time, it's still working outside the home. All right, Scorpios. Wow, that flipped right over. All right. Oh my gosh. Okay, last 3 cards came out. Boom, boom, boom. All right, let's take these in the order in which they came out and see what the message is for you, my beauties. Okay, this is the book that goes with this deck, Spirit Song. Spirit Song. And the artwork is absolutely stunning. But acorns are wands, feathers are swords, shells are cups, and crystals are pentacles. So I have to have that guide in front of me because I've tried to do it without it and then I blank out and forget what it is. But this is a good deck for you to use for a summary reading. Okay. First card out is the 9 of shells. This is the 9 of cups. This is gratitude and fulfillment. And you see that penguin there standing in front of his shells, looking so proud and happy and accomplished, right? So the 9 of cups, yes, you have to have gratitude. You've done something. You've put the work in something that has to do with a lot of emotions. You've done a lot of emotional work on something. And being grateful for your bounty, your blessing, all those shells, cups, all that flow of love and nurturing will bring you more fulfillment. Now, in the other tarot, the card looks different. Every deck has its own energy, right? The base meanings are the same, but the energy of the decks is a little bit different. Some of the other decks show somebody who's seeming boastful, like, and all of the other cups are being ignored, right? So in here, it's talking about gratitude. And sometimes I say that when I'm using one of my other decks about the 9 of cups, right? Here we have the 9 of shells. Okay. Next, you have the page of shells, more cups, more emotion, Scorpios, and water is your element. Intuition and inspiration. So pages are kind of novices at what they do. This is a frog with a heart on its back. Isn't that cute? So pages are novices at what they do. They want to do something new, but they're not quite sure how to do it. They're not, it's like starting a new job and you feel like, well, you know the basics, but you don't know that company's ways, right? Or protocols. It's kind of like that. Pages are also messengers, so you need to tune into your intuition, right, my beautiful Scorpios, to get inspiration. So this, in this deck, I feel like this page of shells, page of cups, is talking about tuning into your own gut instincts to see what it is that you want to do next, or what is that new thing that you'd like to try. Yeah. Then you have the Hanged Man. I prefer to call it the Hanging Man. This is a grasshopper, right? I think. No, it's a praying mantis, excuse me. All right, praying mantis. He's walking upside down. So this is card number 12, which is a 3, which is creation and collaboration. We were just talking about that with the page of shells. Patience and perspective. Okay, so Typically, the Hanging Man is about accepting yourself as you are, being proud of who you are, but it's also looking at things differently, because when you're upside down, everything looks different. So taking in all of your surroundings and maybe seeing things from all different angles, right, is that message. Whoops. These cards are a little bit bigger. All right, so 9 of Cups, Page of Cups, Hanging Man, 3 of Feathers. This is the 3 of Swords. So you see the 3 feathers in there, and then it's a moth, I believe, a moth to the flame. See how it's the sun behind there? Release and recovery. So in this deck, it doesn't show a bleeding heart with swords in it, but that's why I was saying this is kind of a softer, more fun, upbeat deck to use. Releasing things, right? The 3 of Swords is about release, right? But swords are also communication, right? What do you need to release? You may need to have a talk with somebody. You may need to have a talk with yourself, but releasing things, right? In a communicative way. So there could be a hard conversation that you're going to need to have with somebody, but then you need to recover from it. So maybe having, and I don't know why, but Spirit is giving me this for your Scorpios. There may be some sort of a difficult conversation that you need to have, but you need to release it, and then you need to recover from it. Maybe there's something that you have been wanting to tell somebody, but you haven't been able to do it, right? So this may be the time to do so. And then you have the 4 of Feathers, or the 4 of Swords, the 4 of Air. So this is a bear sleeping, sanctuary, and rest. Okay, so 3 of Feathers or 3 of Swords followed by the 4 of Feathers, 4 of Swords. In the 4 of Swords, it typically shows somebody who's lying down and there's 3 swords above him and 1 sword below him, because he's figuring out how to respond. This is exactly what we were talking about with this release and recovery. How do you respond, right? How are you going to move on and recover from whatever this conversation is that you're having? Now, this could also be somebody who has to come to you with a tough conversation, right? And you need to figure out, my beautiful Scorpios, how you're going to react. So take a breath, count to 10 before you say anything. That type of situation. Now, it's going to be different for everybody because this is a collective reading. All right, let's look at what we have seen so far. 9 of Shells or 9 of Cups, right? That is gratitude and fulfillment. It can be a wishes fulfilled card, right? That 9 of Cups. Then you have the Page of Shells. This is something new, right? Something that you need to listen to your intuition about. What is the next thing you want to do? The Hanging Man, right? Seeing it from all perspectives. And then accepting yourself for who you are. And then this tough conversation, either you going to someone for it or somebody coming to you for it, and how you're going to recover and react to that conversation. I would love to know if this happens and how it went. Then you have the 2 of Acorns. Acorns being wands, right? This is a choice, and that's a hawk, right? Insight and focus. 2 of Acorns. In order to make the choice about where you're going next, you're going to have insight and focus, right? Tune into your intuition. Really hone in on that before you make that choice of how you respond and react and how you move on to this new thing. So maybe for some of you, it's just this part of the message. Maybe for others, it's just this part. But whichever it is, just think about it, right? Think before you respond and react. Be grateful. Remember, the first message was about all the work that has gone into something that you've done or are going to do, and that people don't necessarily see that, but you know everything you've put into it, Scorpios. And then from our little whimsical deck is, I wish I could read that word when it's on camera, redirect. Oh my gosh. New roots, hide blooms, only your steps can unveil. New roots, hide blooms, only your steps can unveil. This is talking about moving forward, right? And maybe not being able to see something right now because you need to move forward in order for it to be revealed, which goes along with that Two of Wands with that Page of Cups, right? Sometimes we don't see the choice until we start to move ahead. So this is a card, and the root is ROUTE, like a root, not ROOT, like roots of a like roots of a plant, but it's root as far as what direction are you going, right? So new root, redirect, new roots hide blooms, only your steps can unveil. You need to take that first step to move ahead, make a choice about where you're going and how you're going to go there, what you're saying and how you're going to say it. What is the new thing? Tune into your intuition. Okay, Scorpios. Wow, I'd love to have a comment on this reading and how it resonated for you. Have a great week. Peace and kindness every single day. I love you all.